Hi, morning, everybody. I'm just going to wait a few minutes whilst everybody joins, and then we'll get started with the webinar. Okay, I can see people continuing to join, but we'll get started. And this is being recorded so we can send it out later as well. Welcome, everyone. My name is Rhian Jenkins. I'm the Head of Marketing and Admissions for Bucksmore Education. And today we're running this session to go through one of our courses at one of our great venues in London. So we're going to be focusing on our young professionals courses. So just as a reminder, as many of you will know, we have a range of English foundation courses. We have young professionals, which is our career-related programs, and then our pre-university preparation courses. Today, we'd really like to focus on our London option, and we've got some great speakers who are going to take us through the courses in a bit more detail as well. Just to say, during the webinar, if you do have questions, please do put them into the Q&A box. And at the end of the session, we'll get to a Q&A, and we'll have some time at the end to answer any questions that you may have. So please do continue to write them as you think of them. So I'm going to start by playing a new video that we had developed through this summer. And this is just to illustrate what happens during a young professionals course. So I'm just going to play that now, and hopefully you can all hear it.
Hello, I'm Edwina Laycock, the Senior Academic and Quality Manager at Bucksmore. Welcome to a unique opportunity designed to give you a head start in your future career. Our Young Professionals programme is for aged 13 to 17-year-olds who are passionate about their prospective careers and have at least an intermediate level of English. Whether you already know your desired path or are looking to explore different study options, our courses will help you deepen your knowledge, gain practical experience, and connect with like-minded students from around the world. Our programs combine academic rigour with hands-on learning. You'll attend industry workshops and work on Capstone projects that culminate in an internationally recognised certificate. These projects not only enhance your learning, but also give you a portfolio to support university applications. Choose from a range of courses tailored to your interests, whether it's medicine, business and marketing, graphic design and visual art, AI and computer sciences, architecture and the built environment, engineering, banking and finance, or performing arts. You'll find a programme that suits your passion. Gain real-world insights from industry experts and take part in cultural excursions to places like Oxford, Cambridge, London and Royal Bath. These experiences broaden your perspective and deepen your understanding of your chosen field. In 2025, you'll be studying at some of the UK's top locations. Whether you're at Doverbrooks in Oxford or King's College London, we make sure your arrival is smooth and welcoming. You'll be met at the airport and transported to your campus accommodation, with staff available 24/7 to ensure your safety and comfort. Our experienced staff, many of whom have been with Bucksmore for years, create a safe and supportive environment where you can be yourself. They help you feel confident, make connections, and grow in self-esteem. You'll be part of a truly international and multicultural community. We welcome students from every corner of the globe, with a nationality cap ensuring we maintain a healthy mix of students from different countries. The friends you make today could become your professional contacts tomorrow. Join the Young Professionals programme at Bucksmore in 2025. Discover your passion, make lifelong connections, and take the first step towards a bright international future. Feel free to contact us at any time with your questions. You can use the course chooser on our website to find the perfect programme for you. And on each course page, you can ask us a question, arrange a video call, or book directly. Feel free to contact us with any questions and use our website to find the perfect programme for you.
Sorry, well, I have trouble getting to the next slide. Let's not play that again. There we go. So hopefully that's given you a good overview of what the young professionals courses are all about. So just to kind of pick up on a couple of things in a little bit more detail from me before we go into the courses. As we mentioned, the idea behind the young professionals courses is to really give you a career related program, give you simulated work experience opportunities to understand more about the potential career that you would like to go into. So the fundamentals of the program include a range of academic and subject studies, and we have 25 hours of subject tuition per week, and they include a range of theory sessions, but also practical sessions as well to really give an insight into what those subjects are all about. We have one industry workshop experience per week. And we'll be going into more detail about the specifics of each workshop in each course. Every course, as same as all of our Bucksmore courses, we have excursions and activities that are embedded within the timetable. And on the next slide, I'll show you the timetable so you can have a bit more of an idea of how that works. And then also we have our Capstone industry project. This is a real fundamental and I think a very unique offering that we have within Bucksmore. Which is the development of a real world industry project. And again, we'll be going into the projects in more details, and I think you'll agree that they're very exciting and very interesting for people that are interested in those subject areas. So this is an example of the timetable for the courses. As people may know, all of our courses start on a Tuesday, and then each day there'll be a range of different sessions happening. So either subject theories in the morning or practicals in the afternoon. Then they have the sessions for the industry projects. That we have industry workshops which will take place on a Friday. And then throughout the week, we have multiple excursions as well. In the London option, because most students are studying in London, we have quite a lot of exciting London-based excursions happening and activities that will be a mixture of sort of on-site activities and then some off-site things. So they might go bowling, for example, and do some fun things in the evening as well. At the end of the 2-week course, it will all culminate in the graduation ceremony and party where they will receive their certificate for the projects that they do and for completion of the programme. So I'm going to now hand over to Dr. Cal, who is going to take us through the various courses that we have, and we're going to start by talking about the Young Professionals Medicine course. So I'm going to hand over to him now.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you're chiming in from. Thank you so much for joining the call today. As Rhian's introduced, my name is Cal. I'm a doctor, and I'm really excited to kind of introduce you to the course that we're running this year at Bucksmore. So this course really delves into kind of the world of medicine. It's very different to maybe other courses where we are hands-on delivering these workshops as people relevant to the careers. And we really kind of aim to tie in what they've learned maybe at school, but go that extra clinical layer further. So really introducing the career side of being a doctor, but also the different aspects and in terms of specialities. Throughout the course, they'll have content days and sessions with our academic tutors who will be dealing with different specialities. They might vary from things like cardiology, respiratory, gastroenterology, all the way to things like surgery as well. And we'll be talking a little bit later on about the Capstone industry projects that we'll be doing, which are going to be very fascinating. A little bit of background about myself. So as mentioned, I'm a doctor. I'm dual trained in that I have a Bachelor of Science degree, Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgical degree here in the UK. We set up Meducators, which was our program to really try to get students into different careers in the healthcare setting. And we've partnered with Bucksmore, and we're now an accredited provider for them this year for their courses. We're really looking forward to it, and we've put a really good course together. We work with roughly over 34,000 students across the UK, as well as a handful of schools internationally as well. So I might know some of you already. So just a bit of a quick overview about me. So I've been in multiple specialities. I started school and I realized there wasn't enough of people coming in and really delivering kind of online or in-person academic solutions. And when you're 15, 14, 16 and don't know what to do, it's really good having someone that is, young and relatable. I'm a little bit older now, so maybe not as young, but hopefully still relatable to the students across all the different subjects. So we'll just give a quick overview on the next slide about the course to introduce some of the kind of various aspects of medicine as well. So we'll talk about the Capstone Industry Project. So this is going to be a really fascinating opportunity for the students. So what we're really doing is bringing them on an opportunity where it's not just medicine, medicine, medicine. It's also looking at the other side of what being a doctor or an academic researcher might entail. So we're going to start them from the beginning where we kind of introduce them to a pharmaceutical product and a particular specific need in which they're addressing. So that could be maybe diabetes, which we know you've seen in the news about things about Ozempic and how that's gone forward, or it could be something maybe for asthma. The students will be split into teams and they'll get a choice to decide what avenue they'll go down. They'll then obviously on drug discovery and conceptualization, they'll take that all the way to the market. Here they'll be doing clinical testing, so we'll do simulated experiences where they get to talk to members of the public to kind of trial their drug. They'll talk about the different principles early on and how they kind of make that drug. And also, as with any medication that might be offered, there's always side effects. So they've then got to sell that to the pharmaceutical company, which is our panel of pharmacists and people from pharmaceutical industry, about the costs maybe associated with this too. We'll also be embedding a budget for the student, so they've got to decide what their money goes towards. So is it focusing on marketing or is it focusing on rebranding and trying to make this a drug that's viable for everyone? And then right at the end, they'll have that drug box printed. They'll be using obviously marketing skills as well and using some of the software to create that. And then they'll then pitch it to our panel who will decide who is the winner. So as you can imagine, that'll be throughout the whole of their content course where they're learning about different aspects of medicine and surgery and pharmaceutical industry. At the end of it, they'll be designing a drug. So that's the Capstone Industry Project. And then we've got the industry days, which are, again, this is the kind of bespoke piece for the majority of a lot of our courses. So an e-simulation suite day. So this is where we will get the students and they'll be doing A to E assessments. That's all the way from, airway, breathing, circulation, disability, exposure. So for those who know, if someone is collapsed or someone is unwell, you have to assess them from the beginning. So in my job as a doctor, we do that daily, and then we have to then work up a plan of how to treat these patients. Now, the students will get to do this with a sim man, which will be a experience where they'll be in the heart of a hospital in London, working on different skills to manage an acute patient. So that could be, as mentioned before, someone with asthma, someone with a heart condition, or someone with maybe a surgical, burst appendix, and they've got to deal with that situation and how to kind of critically deal with the situation and also making sure that that patient is fit to go back onto the ward. So this will give them as a real big experience to kind of learn about rapid interventions, acute medical emergencies, as well as surgical emergencies. So very hands-on there. And the second aspect of the industry workshops will be our surgical skills workshop day. So that'll be focusing on, again, the surgical side of things. So they'll have a leading surgeon here in the UK demonstrating different surgical techniques, whether that be knot tying, whether that be suturing, whether that be using some of our laparoscopic machines to kind of simulate removing stones from a gallbladder or trying to suture with that. So very hands-on, and they'll obviously be dealing with a lot of anatomy throughout their content sessions, which is extremely important. So dissecting different organs, learning different techniques. And yeah, so very happy for you to ask any questions either now or at the end of the Q&A at the end of the PowerPoint.
Thanks, Cal. I think we're going to move on to the business and finance course. And so we've got Kunal here who's going to talk you through this course.
Hi all. Yeah, so building on from the medicine course, we'll move on to business and finance. So business and finance is a very interesting course because obviously that term encompasses lots of different career paths. So The aim of this program is essentially to give students an insight into different pathways in the finance world, as well as business, as well as making their own startup. So this can include things like private equity, investment banking, stock market, as well as working through how you can start your own company. And it's a program which many students enjoy and find that they can learn about many different aspects of the financial world. So in the next slide, we'll just dive into a couple of examples of how we teach them through the finance world. So this is the head teacher of the program, Syed Irbaz. So Syed has a lot of experience in working in different aspects of the financial world. So he's worked at a bank in the US as well as the UK, and he has a strong passion for teaching students and not only explaining how the financial world works, but instead building workshops which get students to do hands-on activities. Because with a subject like banking or finance, it can be quite abstract for students if we're just explaining content to them and showing them how different activities work, whether it's in private equity, whether it's in the stock market, whether it's in sales and trading. Instead, what we would do is create exercises to initially teach them certain theories that they may not have learned at school, and then they would use these to apply them into practical and like stock market simulation environments so that they can actually learn by doing rather than learning by listening. So this is a capstone project. So the capstone project is a really good example of, or a really good way for the students to get a deep dive into a specific topic. So our capstone project is a Shark Tank style investor pitch. So with this capstone project, essentially what students are doing is they are beginning by understanding the fundamentals of a business. So understanding how to analyze financial statements, understanding the different sectors of a business, such as operations, marketing, sales, etc. And then they're going into researching different propositions. So the students will be presented with, let's say, 5 different businesses, and they need to go away and do their own independent research in groups to really understand the details of the business and try to identify the projected paths of the different businesses. In step 3, the students will then have to listen to pitches, and they'll have different investors from each of these companies coming to them and explaining the business plan and the growth plan for those individual businesses. The students then need to decide essentially how they want to invest their money and their funds and negotiate a deal for purchasing parts of the companies they want to buy. And then in stages 5 and 6, we flip it around because now the students have purchased the company or purchased part of the company and now need to develop their own growth strategy to essentially grow the company that they purchased. And then in stage 6, they would present it back to a new panel of to like a new panel essentially. And this is a really nice capstone project because they're essentially starting by learning about the theory of a business, listening to pitches, negotiating deals, and then at the end they need to kind of implement those skills that they've learned by building their own business plan and pitching themselves. And it shows and it teaches students a lot of different skills, whether it's in the world of private equity, the world of business and startups, or the world of investment banking. And here are 2 examples of industry workshops. So the first one, the London Academy of Trading. So this one is a very exciting workshop, which a lot of students enjoy because it's a simulated dive into the world of the stock market. So students will essentially understand or learn about the role of the Central Bank of England. They'll understand how trading platforms work, and they'll understand the key factors behind decisions on the trading floor. And they'll use this information to essentially hedge their investments on a live stock market, which is a dynamic stock market that will change throughout the day and throughout the various hours that they're trading. And in this way, we add an element of competition between students, which is obviously which is always something which excites them and ensures they're focusing, as well as giving them live feedback in terms of their investments and their overall profit. And number two is building a startup and visiting a company. So the best way to kind of learn about the world of business and startups is to meet successful founders and inspiring individuals in the field. So in this workshop, we would hear from exciting entrepreneurs in the UK just to understand both the positives and negatives of starting your own business, as well as the challenges that you may not hear sometimes. And students will then use this information to build their own startup business plan. So we focus on building a bubble tea brand, and students will need to essentially work on marketing, the brand, building their costings, building the product, building their operations team, their staffing, and then eventually developing a business pitch for their bubble tea brand. So this final exercise is a quite fun brand exercise where students can start with a small concept at first and finish with a fully fledged business. So yeah, that's a summary of the business and finance program. And now we'll just move on to the law program. So similar to business and finance, the law is a really exciting program, and we cover many different aspects of law. So obviously we have criminal law, human rights law, corporate law, environmental law, and much more. And we're essentially trying to give students a understanding of the different pathways in law open to them, as well as the differences between the different fields and different roles, such as solicitors, barristers, corporate lawyers, and so on. And here is the profile of our very experienced tutor, Georgia. So Georgia has hundreds of hours of experience teaching students interested in the career of law, and she has experience working in the legal sector. One thing that's really important for the program is for students to meet different types of lawyers due to the large differences between, for example, solicitors, barristers, corporate lawyers, etc. So during the week, Georgia will essentially host the students and will have different speakers coming in to contribute. So, for example, we'll have someone who's come in who's had lots of experience in environmental law. We'll have someone coming in who's head of a solicitor firm. We'll have someone coming in who has experience working in a chambers in London. And in that way, the students can kind of complement the knowledge from lawyers from different aspects of the legal world, alongside Georgia, who will essentially summarize and centralize that information for them. So here's the Capstone project. So the Capstone project is really fun for law because we essentially do a live mock trial. So students will essentially be given an introduction into how a court works and the concept of mooting in step one. And then in step two, the students will be given the case information. And the case information is a very detailed legal document, which has essentially an explanation of the case, the witnesses, the process for the jury, the process for the trial, and essentially all of the information they would need to do step three, which is research and develop their case. So in step three, the students will be able to work like real lawyers in terms of building a case either on either side of the case. And they will use this research and use this information to get ready to present in a live mock trial. In stages 4 and 5, we have this live mock trial. So we have a formal trial whereby we will have a jury, we'll have a judge, and we'll have two various sides debating in a live court. And students will essentially be able to build on their communication skills, their research skills, their legal skills to take part in this simulated legal experience. And then in step 6, we'll have the judge's verdict, as well as a evaluation and discussion of the course overall, as well as some feedback for students. So overall, this is a really nice exercise because students get very hands-on. It's very fun for students, and they actually get to follow through from a case from the beginning until the verdict at the end. And these are the two industry workshops. So the first one is a courtroom experience day. So with the previous Capstone project, the students have a really good opportunity to get involved in a mock trial. And in this industry workshop, we aim to take them to actually see a real trial so they can see how a real trial works. And in this experience, students will often go to a place like the Old Bailey in London, where they'll be able to see a legal trial. And we'll have Georgia there, as well as other members of our legal team who will be there to explain the information with the students, evaluate and create talks after the sessions to kind of build on what they've seen in the court and how they can apply that into the classroom afterwards. And the second workshop is the law firm visit and legal practice workshop. So the students will now be able to actually go to a leading law firm and actually take care of some tasks for that firm, such as conducting research, drafting documents, and communicating with clients. Obviously, the students will be doing very basic tasks and will mainly be there to get an insight into the law firm. But it's quite a nice exercise because they can actually speak to various members of the law firm, and they can also just go into a physical space and see the type of office they could be working in and the realities of working in a legal firm. And this is like a nice thing to cap off the experiences that they built in the classroom as well as in the courts that they've seen by finishing in an actual firm where they can understand what the real job is like. So I'll hand over back to Cal now for the graphic design.
Hi everyone. So thanks so much for that, Kunal. So now we're going to be talking a little bit about the Young Professionals Graphic Design course. So this course is, again, it's going to be a very innovative and immersive course. And it's really there to kind of inspire the design students, equip them with the skills to thrive in both an artistic kind of field, but also the professional world of design as well. So as mentioned, we'll be going over things like typography, branding, and digital illustration, and we'll be also talking about the history of graphic design, from very well-known brands and the psychology behind those brands, like an Apple logo or a Nike tick, and really talking a little bit more about how we can get that out there for businesses too. So move on to the course overview now. Oh, sorry, moving on to the one of our leading tutors for the experience. So Ami Kamari, or Ami V as she's known, she's an award-winning multidisciplinary designer in London. She's worked for a number of firms in London and also works up north, and as you can see, has worked for a few names down at the bottom of the list. She studied in Hong Kong and did a lot of work in Hong Kong before coming back to the UK to finish her degree as well. She's been voted as a BIMA 100 award, so that's top 100 designers here in the UK, and she's a visionary with her design work. And there's a lot of interest in her field with regards to digital illustration, motion, as well as motion graphic design. But yes, she'll be one of our leading tutors, and she has a real passion for design as well as mentorship. And she's taught a lot of our students before, and not only in the craft, but also the kind of evolving dynamics of the industry. And we'll just move on now to the Capstone project. So yeah, the Capstone projects are really, really important. So what we really want the students to gather from this experience is really immersing them into the experience and where it might be their first day at a graphic design studio. So for example, they're given a brief, they're given certain objectives by the client, but how they analyze the designs and how they kind of have a strategic process in visualizing their brand, that might include just stocks, that might include, motion and graphic design, and that might also involve digital illustration. And they'll be working in teams and they'll be working on these client briefs, and they'll be coming around and obviously helping them hone their skills, and that will then later on bring us on to the capstone, sorry, the industry workshops that we'll teach you about later. But the concept approval is really important here, because in the graphic design industry, there's a lot of back and forth where the client says, this needs to be changed. How do you go through this? And then we'll also be bringing in different bits of software. So they'll be using obviously their devices as well as the software provided to talk through the different parts of the graphic design. And they'll be creating vector graphics, doing digital painting, and working on these personal projects together. At the end, they'll have to pitch this presentation to, again, the experts who will say their brand is great. What does it really ring? And it's a bit like a Dragon's Den or a Shark Tank pitch, similar to the other Capstone projects, but focusing mainly, obviously, on the graphic design. And we'll just move on to the industry workshops now. So the industry workshops of graphic design are fantastic. You won't see this in many other places. So we have a number of design studios in London that are professional and leading designing firms. The students will be able to go into the firm and learn about all the way from junior to senior management in a graphic design firm, how they bring on their clients, and also how they deal with the clients' demands, as per se, and edits throughout. There'll obviously be Q&A sessions for the students in the design firms, where they get to speak to juniors as well as the seniors in managing their day-to-day, and also observing live projects and how branding and marketing can come to life through design. And a lot of the firms work with some big names. So, for example, Mini Cooper or Coca-Cola, Tabasco, and some of these projects they'll be able to witness, obviously, firsthand. The second part of the art industry workshops is the digital illustration workshops. So again, this is focusing on vector graphics, digital painting, as well as image manipulation, but using industry standard software. So we'll be really teaching these students kind of how to start from a client brief all the way to kind of completion, and that will be dealt with a professional from one of our leading firms at Explosive Brands, that will be talking through user interface and user experience. They'll work again on these personal projects. They'll get expert feedback as they go along, and it will really give them a deeper understanding into the digital tools used, for example, Adobe After Effects and Adobe Illustration.
Okay. Thank you, Cal and Canal, for your great introductions to the four young professionals courses. Callan and Canal will be sticking around until the end. So if you do have any questions about any of the courses that we've mentioned so far, medicine, business, law, or graphic design, please ask them now. I'm going to cover our last course that we have available as part of our young professionals set in London. Unfortunately, Rachel is unable to join this morning. She's been unwell, but I will hope to cover this course as best as I can. So many people will know about our performing arts course that we've run for many years, and it's always been a very, very popular course in London. So this really, aims to give a first-hand insight into the performing arts industry. And the way that we do that is through a range of different workshops. So this can include things like acting, singing, dance, musical theatre sessions, audition workshop, masterclasses, stage combat, and puppetry sessions. We work with a brilliant partner which is West End On Demand, who are a leading performing arts organisation. So as I said, Rachel was unable to join us this morning, but Rachel is the director of West End On Demand, who work with Bucksmore on this programme. Herself, she is a top West End performer, and she's been in lots of productions, and a lot of the people that she works with within West End On Demand are of a similar calibre as well. So working with kind of leading ladies who have been in some of the top musicals that you probably know and love, and lots of other people behind the scenes that help them with the singing sessions and puppetry and things like that as well. So it's a really well-rounded programme. It's a very busy programme. Students are doing lots of different things. They're in the studio most days, and they're busy working away, but it's a really, really exciting course for them to do. So as I mentioned, these are some of the workshops that they get involved with, and instead of the capstone projects that we have with our other courses, what they're working towards is a final performance. So they combine all of these different things that they've learned in a short space of time in only 2 weeks, and it results in a performance that that we have at the end of usually on the final Monday of the course. It is a real mixture of skill ranges, so Rachel and her teams kind of sort of accommodate different people's abilities. Some people have their own singing solos, they have group dance performances as well. I attended it this summer, and we had some people who were playing piano and showing off their breakdancing, all different things like that. So just to kind of show their talents, and it really helps to grow students' confidence and their communication skills and their collaboration skills as well. One really important part of the final performance to mention is that everybody is invited to come and watch the final performance. So if you have parents, or if you're an agent and you're in London during the summer, then we would invite you to come along. And we did have quite a few parents and families that came along, and it was really, really special for them to be able to see the final performances. However, we are aware that not everybody is able to do that, and we do record the final performance, and we'll make it available to the families to watch it afterwards as well. And then at the end of the session, they will receive, as well as our own certificates, they do receive a West End On Demand certificate of completion as well. So those are all of the courses. I'm just going to talk briefly about the venue that we're using for these courses this year. So King's College London is where students will be staying. We have some of our English courses that take place here as well, and then we're bringing in young professional students here. The great thing about King's College London, it's a very, very central London location. It's perfect if people want that kind of London experience for 2 weeks. They have great single rooms, which are en suite as well, and lots of great facilities. I'll show you a few photos in the next slides. So for next year, the main sort of teaching building and where students will have their meals each day will be in the Franklin Wilkins building, which is just opposite their accommodation. So it's really convenient, and the meals are always very lovely, healthy options, and they have the range of options as well there as well. And they will stay in Stamford Street Apartments, which is one of the KCL accommodation blocks. As you can see, really nice kind of university style dorm rooms. Everybody has an ensuite. There is a kitchen within each cluster of a flat as well, which people can commune in. And then there's also some bigger communal spaces for everybody to kind of congregate. And that's where they'll have many of the activities that they do in the evenings, for example, as well. So a couple of really final things to mention. Of course, I need to mention that we have an early bird offer at the moment, which ends at the end of this year. So it will be 10% off of the fees. So this is all of our fees, but for KCL London for young professionals, the early bird fee will be £2,745 if you book before and pay a deposit before the end of the year. So please get in early if you want to get that early bird offer. Just a very quick introduction to our team. If you do have any further questions, as you know, you've got a regional team behind you and people that you can ask if you have any questions, as well as behind the scenes, you have a Bucksmore team as well. So a different admissions coordinator depending on which region you're based in. So Garvi, Giovanna and Marjan will be there to support you as well. And Richard is our marketing coordinator. If there's anything you need to be able to promote the course, if you're looking for videos, the video I showed, for example, I mean, you can find it on our website very easily, but do get in touch if there's anything else that you require as well. And finally, I just wanted to mention that we have a few more upcoming events. So next week, we're hosting a home tuition webinar. many of you will know that we have a home tuition part of our Bucksmore, which is where students can live and learn in a teacher's home or receive online tuition or subject specific tuition or English tuition. If you'd like to find out more about our home tuition options, then we are hosting a webinar next week at same time, and we'll send a link after this as part of the follow-up to this session. The early bird deadline, as I mentioned, is the 31st of December. If you'd like to find out more about the courses, then please do have a look at our new revamped website. If you would like to apply, then the link is there. You can also find that on our website as well. And if you need anything else, then do get in touch to find out more from us. So that's everything from us. I'm now going to have a look at and see if we have any questions. So we have maybe 5 or so minutes to go through some questions. I'm hoping there's some good ones in here. Okay, so the first one I can see is from Anonymous. So can you give us more information on the award certificates students get if they do the Young Professionals course? So yeah, I'm going to bring back Cal if he's available. Just on the performing arts course, as I mentioned, students will get a Bucksmore Theatre Award and a West End On Demand certificate. But Cal, maybe you could tell us more about, for the other courses, medicine, etc., what they will receive as well.
Yeah, so thank you very much for the question. So for medicine, law, graphic design, and the business and finance young professionals courses, the ones that Kunal and I have just been speaking about, all of the students will get award certificates for the program. Also, and they will receive them on the graduation day at the end of the course as well. So yep, everyone will receive award certificates.
And I think in the coming weeks and months, we'll hopefully have some sample certificates as well. We have some of them already from some of our other providers in Oxford, but we'll try and get those together as well, so we can give you an idea of what it is that students will receive before the summer as well. Okay, thank you. So the next question from Gina. Hi, Gina. Is in terms of English proficiency, should applicants provide certificates to prove their proficiency? Yes, if they have a certificate that can show their English level, then they can provide that. If students don't, and many students don't at this stage, then we have our own pre-placement test. So if you get in touch with one of our admissions team, then they can send you the test to complete. And then you return that and it will give us the score, and then we can go from there. So either way, if you don't have a certificate, then we can test another way. Okay, Elena has asked, how many spots for every nationality are available? Is there a way to know the residue availability in real time without asking our contact? So as it mentioned in the video briefly, we do have a nationality cap in place for all of our courses, which is 20% across the centres. So for the young professionals courses in London, off the top of my head, it will be usually between 10 and 12 students per nationality, usually, somewhere around there. So that's usually the limit that we can go to per nationality. In terms of availability in real time, we're working on that, and we're hoping that we can have something that is available on the website, so that so agents can easily see the availability that we have. But for now, if you get in touch with us, at the moment the availability is looking good, but do get in touch if you have any questions about that. Okay, and then Andrea, thank you very much for the interesting and beneficial presentation. You're very, very welcome. Okay, I don't see any new questions, but if there is anything, please put them in now before we end the session. Hi, Nina. Thank you. Okay, I'm not seeing any new questions. So I think we'll end it there. I just want to round off by saying thank you so much to Cal and Kunal for joining today. I hope that you'll agree that the sessions and the courses sound really, really exciting, and we're really, really excited to work with them both on the sessions. And thanks for taking time out of your day, because I know you're both very busy to attend this session. It's really useful. As I've mentioned before, we will send out this recording. We'll send out the presentation as well, and anything else that I've mentioned during the course of the presentation, so you'll have everything. And yeah, thank you very much. And I think we'll end it there. So have a nice day, evening, and we'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye.